Hi, I'm Wyatt Cash at Scoop News Group, and we're here at the Network Transformation Summit with Kevin Steeprow, Vice President for Engineering at Red River. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me and having the opportunity.
Well, let me get started by asking first, how have federal agencies leaned on IT in the past year to enable mission success during a crisis?
Yeah, obviously, I think we all know, just over a year ago, we all went from, a lot of us went from going into offices, at least to, on some regular basis, to working, mainly from home. And boy, the stress that put on the IT organizations and the number of new devices coming onto the network, trying to maintain security, but also from a performance and expectation of the user base to my application still needs to work. I've got to get my mission done. I've got the warfighter on some cases. I've got this, our civilian citizens on another case. They all expect something from me and they need that stuff from me. So my applications and my systems have to work. And so the stress, you almost can't explain the amount of stress that the IT groups have been put on.
I'm sure that's true. Next, let me ask, how can network visibility lead to better security, trust, performance, and ultimately end user experience?
Yeah, I think, that visibility across the entire network is, in a lot of cases, we've really looked at making sure that the traffic is going from one place to the other. But there's so many more aspects of it now, especially where we've got applications that are running on different devices and our users are starting to, starting an action on one device and then they're switching to another because maybe I'm starting to do some work on my phone or a tablet or something like that. And then I need to switch to a laptop because I need a bigger screen. And we want to see, as a user, I want to see that data and that experience transition smoothly. And so the network side of it needs to understand that the data is going to be coming from a different device now. So how do I re-authenticate in an efficient and effective way, but do it in a way that's not going to impact security? And then also understand that from the network side that, I was using this connection mechanism and now I've switched over to a LAN, a wired Ethernet, or I'm using, fiber optics or something like that coming over from my LTE network. So all of these types of things, understanding that holistic view on what is happening in the network, that's what these tools really are, trying to strive to provide our IT departments, and it's critical.
Well, next, as the federal government sustains some degree of remote work, how should agencies think about operating their networks going forward so that they can continue to maintain connectivity and security?
I think, as I've seen, that President Biden has, some initiatives to really, encourage the continued work from home, structures that have been put in place and everything else. So for me, it's really continuing the lessons learned. What have we learned over this last year? And we're not all going to default back going into the office. So let's not think, okay, well, all these things that we've been done, the band-aids that have been put in place, we can just forget about it. We're going to go back to the way that it was before. We actually have to continue to learn, and those band-aids that were put in place, we need to figure out, okay, what is the long-term solution and the long-term answer for that? And, like I said, with the pandemic, everybody had to make that quick transition. Our IT departments were under immense stress and they really just had to make things work. But now it's time, we got to take that breath and say, okay, what's working, what's not, what's this journey and where are we going to go? And now we've got other mandates out there, like the executive order with, security, zero trust that, comes along with that. So it's really going to be important that we take those lessons learned and how we're going to apply them, but also do it in a way that's really going to drive that long-term journey, for a secure, operational, and functional environment for our end users.
Absolutely. Well, lastly, as agencies continue their digital transformation journey, what emerging technologies and concepts should they be planning for in the year or two ahead?
So I think software-defined networking, and software-defined access, they're not necessarily new or emerging. They're getting more established, but they're still figuring some things out. So I think those are two areas that we absolutely would expect our customers to continue to evaluate and look into and expand adoption of. zero trust architectures. Again, how do we provide that security and everything else? And then the other one that I've been, kind of been my soapbox moment here for, lately too, is bringing network performance monitoring and application performance monitoring together to provide a holistic view of what's happening across the network and the application, and start correlating that data so we actually can make it, this concept of a self-diagnosing, self-healing network and application environment to really provide that, smooth transition for our end users. And again, it's about the mission, right? At the end of the day, we have every one of our customers they're tied to a mission, and so enabling them to provide that mission to their customer that's what we're here for.
Well, Kevin Steeprow, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your insights with our audience rather, on network transformation and the look ahead as they continue to advance their missions. Appreciate your being with us.
Thank you very much for the time.